What's up YouTube? Today I'm going to show you how to install these steel braided brake lines on an R56 Mini Cooper S. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and stick around. You're going to want to watch this whole video. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is get your car up on jack stands. I only have 2 jack stands, so I'm going to do one side at a time. If you have 4, it's better to get all 4 tires off the ground, so when you go to bleed the brakes, your car's already off the ground on all 4 tires. Also, you're going to want to make sure you remove all 4 tires. Like I said, I only have 2 up, so I only have 2 off. So I'll do the other side after I do this side. Alright, so now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get an 11mm wrench. Hopefully you have a line wrench. I don't. And a 17mm for the bottom part right here. And you're going to break that loose. Let me show you how. Okay, you're going to put the 11mm on the top bolt and the 17mm on the bottom bolt. You're just going to separate it like that. I'm turning the top bolt I'm just breaking it loose. I'm not going to take it off yet. That's definitely loose. Okay, on the other end of the brake line, just follow the brake line. Get down to the bottom right here, and there's a 14mm. I can't really get my camera in here too good to break it loose on camera, but it's a 14 right there. I'm just going to go ahead and break that loose. Okay, once you have your wrench on there, just break that loose. Alright, it's already broke loose. I'm going to go ahead and swap it out. Okay, your kit is going to come with 2 different length brake lines. The longer of the 2 is the one that you're going to put in the front, and the shorter is obviously going to go in the back. Okay, you're going to take your 17mm, put it on the bottom. Go ahead and crack this one all the way off. Using the 11mm on the top. You're going to lose some good amount of brake fluid probably when you do this. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out if I can. Both hands. There we go. Alright, pull that out. Okay, then go ahead and take the one out on the other side, the 14 that you loosened earlier. I'm not going to be able to get it on camera because I use both hands. Maybe I can get it on camera. I got it hands loose. Just once you crack it, it's pretty loose. Alright, there's that one. You're going to take the new one, put the smaller end is going to go in the same spot you just took that out of. Getting it started is a little bit hard. Okay, once you have it to where it turns hella easy by hand, you want it to be to where it should go in real easy. You don't want to have to force it. If you feel like you have to force it, it's because you're cross-threading it. So go ahead and tighten as tight as you can by hand. Then once you get it as tight as you can by hand, you want to get your wrench on there. Hopefully you have a flare wrench. And the lines are going to all come with different size fittings, so you're going to have to, use the wrench that fits your brake lines. Alright, so once you get that one tight, you're going to want to then go ahead and thread this in, your other end in. Get as tight as you can by hand like that, and then go ahead and move on to the wrenches. Alright, I'm just going to take this 11, tighten this down. This part has some grooves in it that stays in there, so you'll need your, it's probably a good idea anyway to use the 17 to loosen it, but to tighten it, I don't think you're going to need it, unless it starts to turn, and then you will. Mine is turning a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. Some chains. There we go. Little plastic piece, rubber piece, and put it in there in the fitting where the OEM one came out. Just slide that in. Alright, once you get it in, that's what it looks like. They look a lot better. Hopefully they perform better. Now I'll show you guys how to do the back ones. Okay, in the back, you're going to loosen this bolt right here, and then follow the brake line. And it's going to be right here next to the bleeder screw. Let's see if I can find it. Right there. Okay, so on the back, again, I'm going to use a 17 millimeter. I'm going to put it on the back. If you don't have a 17 millimeter, that part might not be necessary. I'm just doing it for safety, just to keep it from turning, not really safety. And then I'm going to put a 11 on here, if I can get it on there. Try that again when I can see. Okay, put the 11 on there like that and go ahead and break it loose. Comes loose pretty easy. Alright. Alright, with that one just a little bit loose, you want to take your 14 or a 9/16 will work too. It's a little bit looser. Put your 14 on there, on the back one, and then just break it loose. And once you break it loose, it'll already be hand tight, or enough to where you can turn it by hand. Okay, once you have that back part loose, you go ahead and loosen this the rest of the way. Alright, that's all the way off. Okay, now I'm going to pop part of the brake line that connects to the strut out. I'm going to pull this whole brake line out. I'm going to unscrew it as quickly as I can because there is brake fluid dripping out. And I did top off my master cylinder right before I did this, so it's not going to get too much air in the line, even though I am going to bleed it afterwards. Alright, and pull that out like that. Okay, in your kit, remember you're going to grab the shorter one of the two, and you're going to put it, or of the four actually, and you're going to put it in the back where you just took that out. And same thing, you want to get it to where it threads in by hand. You don't want to have to force it. And you definitely want to do the back one first, because once the front one is tight, There's just no way to put the back one in. The one that's on the caliper. What I found to work to get it threaded in there is I take the steel braided brake line and I put it as straight as I can, all the way back like that. So I can get a good shot here. And then onto the caliper. As long as you have that brake line as straight as you can get it, it's a lot easier to hand thread it until you can get it to where you need to tighten it with a wrench. Okay, once you get it all the way hand tight, go ahead and tighten it with your wrench. Again, if you have a line wrench, it's a lot better than what I'm using. Okay, so now routing your brake line the same path as your old brake line. You're gonna put it in the same spot where you just took the old one out, like that. Thread it in. Again, you want to get it as tight as you can by hand, so you know you're not cross-threading anything. You want to make absolute certain that you get that all the way in. You don't want that to pop out while you're driving down the road. Okay, once you've done that, go ahead and do the other side of the car, and then you're going to want to bleed your brakes. I'm going to do another video. I'm going to do one video on how to bleed your brakes, and then I'm going to do another video on how to completely flush your brake fluid, because I'm switching to the Motul 660. So I'm just going to flush it. I'm going to bleed it with just some cheap Walmart .4 brake fluid. Make sure you use .4. And then after I do that, then I'm going to, well, you can see it right there. It's the Super Tech from Walmart. And then there's the Motul that I have right there. But yeah, I'm going to bleed it with the Super Tech. And then I'm going to go ahead and just flush the whole thing, just so I can do a video on both. I could just flush it, but then, if you don't know how to bleed your system, I'm not really helping you. So I'd rather help everybody than just some of you. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video.